In the last 5 years of living in Canada, I've worked 3 jobs at once. I've been hit by a car on a crosswalk. I've lost my father. And I've even received death threats from my roommates. December 27, 2025 marks 5 years since I have arrived in Canada. On December 27, 2020. But of course, I don't want to start this up because I want to give you a proper context before landing in Canada. Because I'm just landing on boat in Canada. I want to give you the context of what it was like back home in Jamaica before I made the move. So let's get into it. January 2020. I was a very involved 19-year-old. I was in upper sixth form at Glenmuir High School. I was juggling 6 key subjects. I was deputy head boy. I was president of United Nations Club, president of David Society, and to top that off, I was also the national president of the Jamaica Prefects Association. And you know, to feel like a 19-year-old in a school, there's so much things. That was so much, a lot to juggle. Back home, I was also going through some issues there as well. 2019, my parents and I got into a serious spat over finances. My father financed a car. When it was time for conversations about, okay, how am I going to fund university? It's like, oh, the funds that we had for university, we had to use it to get the car. I'm a strong believer in that God give us something for a reason, and you have to plan out and do things properly and kind of say, oh, I'm do this and then God I go take care of everything else. So I was very upset with them. And it was like, oh, I was doing all this at school and then I have no guarantee so I could even be able to fund university. And the thing is, there were a lot of scholarships out there, but a lot of times when you're applying for scholarships, they ask for your parents' income. And due to the income my father made, not that it was like super high or anything, but it often move past the threshold of what they're looking for. But the thing is, the income that was coming to the household, all of it was going to pay for that loan. Another thing was they paid offerings and tithes, so that was the thing I brought with them. But like, when pay 15% of the income for salary, 15% towards tithes and offerings, and then what about me? 1% to them put towards university. And that was some of the arguments I had with them. These are parties that don't take and like, when I want to pick me one university, one, you know what I mean? But with our loved ones, I always go through your highs and lows. So I'm going to go through some points in there. I'm not trying to disparage anyone, just want to give you the story as it is, how I felt in these moments and so on. So 2020 was just a very emotional period as well. My nephew, who was living with us at that time he was 11, he was living with us. He had moved to go and live with his mother in America. And the pressures of just leading the different responsibilities I had in my life. And all that just come down upon me. What do I do now? Where do I go? Nicole McLaren, she had offered me a scholarship to attend SAT classes. And I was like, okay, I told my parents it was going to be held on Saturdays. Of course, I was sitting grew up a certain Adventist and like, oh, that's a no. As soon as I told my mom, she was like, oh, no, you can't go then. And it was just like, it was just so easy to like, yeah, I mean, it was too easy to like, oh, not even consideration. It was like instant, like, oh, you can't go because on a Saturday. March 6th, I accepted my first thing at UA. And when we was talking about guarantors with my father, was like, he can't act as a guarantor because he's already financing this loan, so I have to ask somebody else. And like, no, who for us? And then when he asked, like, it just so, everything just showed up in the ear and never certain. I must say, so upset. I applied for University of the West Indies, and I applied for York University in Toronto, Canada. I said, okay, this pandemic is on our heels, and I don't know where I'm gonna go. I don't know how to fund university here in Jamaica, and maybe the opportunities in Canada or even the US. Canada seems to be easier our lower barriers to entry in Canada. So okay, Canada it is. So I had applied for York University in late 2019, early 2020, and I got accepted on March 10th of 2020. And what happened on March 10th of 2020? Jamaica had its first confirmed case of the coronavirus. School them shut down, we stopped going to school in March. Everybody start wearing masks, quarantine, social distancing, start up, and just a whole lot of chaos. But of course, I have to keep my head on my body. Still have the responsibilities of school, and then disappear, come to have to do CAPE. I still have to lead the JPA, that's the Jamaica Previous Association. I still have to do what I do. And still like tackling, okay, what I'm going to do after high school, what I'm going to do after sixth form now. And like, these were all the stresses that I had on my head. And I had to figure out, what am I going to do? COVID dropping now, uncertainties all over the place. We're quarantining, we're at home with my parents, and that made one of things worse. Cabin fever, I was going through a lot of that. I'm like, okay, man, the PPS face now, like, I was just so like, they don't know how Jamaica gonna be economically wise, because of course, okay, maybe Canada and US, they're a bit more resilient, so they could handle the impact that COVID could have on them. They could bounce back more quickly, I would imagine. I applied for scholarships at New York University when I was applying there, and on May 4th, I got awarded a $10,000 scholarship. It was a one-time scholarship. They were only awarding that money once for the first year only. At least I'm appreciative for that $10,000, but the tuition was like $34,000. I'm like, okay, I get that money there from, like, what I can't even get that for the first year, much less 3 other years. But of course, what I have faith, I will keep push on and thing. May 21, I opened a GoFundMe with the help of my lovely sister, but it was kind of difficult putting myself out there and asking like, oh, can you give towards my university a GoFundMe? I'm not much of a asker, or I don't know what to ask for something, I don't know what to, but I got assistance from Rosie Ware, who helped to raise a significant portion of money for someone going to Howard University. I'm like, okay, maybe she can help me out, and I really appreciate her efforts there. They were gaining so much momentum where even on the 28th of June, I was asked to do an interview on a particular TV show, and I accepted. Even though that interview was a bit weird for me, because, okay, as I said, I wasn't fully comfortable, like, being so, like, all of a sudden just rushed into asking for giving to me. And the interview, to be honest, I haven't watched it since I done it, because I didn't feel very genuine. I just feel like, no, I didn't want to, I just feel uncomfortable after doing the interview. I'm like, okay, maybe I said something that I didn't really want to say. I was led to say. I just didn't watch it. I didn't feel good about the interview, but it is what it is. GoFundMe now, it's again like a traction, but ultimately it didn't get as much traction as we'd hoped. I was fully grateful for the money that was raised. However, would have hoped that they could be covering a good portion of my expenses for university. I think it was like 2,000 something from GoFundMe. So do the maths, 34,000 tuition now, 34 minus 10 minus 2. So we still have 20,000 left to pay. Now that I come from. So in order to study in Canada, you have to have a study permit or study visa. So I was in the process of looking about that. And my parents, most of my father, was a bit reluctant and hesitant for me to even push too much to go to Canada. Of course, he was he was helping me. He saw where I could go to Canada, but he was more so feeling that going to it was more realistic, and that's what I should stick with. And it was kind of hard convincing him that, okay, Canada the thing now. So on June 18, we went to a consultation with a travel agent, and at the time, a couple days before the consultation, my dad said, okay, we wants to go to this consultation, but him come and say, oh, him not have the money if we go, because of course he worked in aviation industry at the airport. Of course that closed down, he got laid off I think that same month, so he didn't have the money to give to the consultation. It was $5,000 at the time. I said, okay, I had some money saved up, because me and boy, I always have my money saved up or stashed away. Even though I was still going to school, I always had a habit of saving from first form. Okay, I had the $5,000 I paid to go to the consultation. When we went, the man tell me, oh, he must tell me enough of what I already know already. And then he was say, oh, backlog of applications or might not get through, and just one bugger hold up and walk can't happen. And after that, I was driving home from the concentration, my father was like, you know, when somebody say like, oh, try to patch the wound, like, sorry, say not gonna work out, but you know, you is still there. I'm like, first of all, me never did even business about what the consultation say, cause me know, me never business what him did say. Me go on the kind of website and say it like a book. I know what I need, I know something can fulfill it. So no business how much backlog him said that. Cause I think it was $65,000 him did one charge for the application fee. I'm saying, I don't need them, I know what to do. I know if to put the application, and I can't read, I can't write, I can't put two and two together. So that's why exactly what I did. I submitted the application on my own. And of course, is the story goes. Talk about the study visa application. So I'm just gonna do them quick. So I applied for the study visa on the 21st of August. And then on the 2nd of September, I was asked to come in to do my biometrics. And on the 9th of September 2020, I started my online classes at Yankee University. Come get admitted, do I get to make a scholarship and just start the classes. COVID allowed us to do online classes from Jamaica. So like, okay, start doing them. On the 23rd of October 2020, the Canadian Embassy or contact or whatever you call it to Jamaica, they said, okay, we're requesting your passport. I make a decision. I'm like, okay, where's my passport? I think I mean, no, say at that time, say they request a passport. That means I get through. And when I said that to my father, I was like, oh, I know, say I get through and so on. And on November 11, 2020, I got an official approval for my study visa. In my mind, I didn't know something I get through. So I know something feel like everything I needed. And my father was so surprised, like, oh, wow, I know say you get through. God is so good. And I was like, low-key sad and like, you really believe that I come true? And then you say, oh, the consultant say, oh, backlog and all these things. And I say, oh, you're not going to work out. I remember even when I applied, him have one pilot from church come talk to me about possibly even being the guarantor if I forgot you, and why you is more likely. And that's, but I never need no one to talk to, because I didn't make up my mind and say, I'm going to show this Canadian thing. And just the pressure of just living there. It was more so I started to feel so stifled. But still feel like I'm sorry upon left. Like, to be quite frankly honest, that's what I feel like I got stifled now, like, remember I even said that to my sister, I said, I just feel so stifled, I wanna, cause it's like, I never expect me to have all this ambition and thing, like, you know what I mean? So I said, okay, I need to just spread my wings and go on business. December 4, I did something weird. I applied for Memorial University of Newfoundland. Plan in mind, so I said, okay, I did the first year at York with a scholarship here, and then I can transfer to a more affordable school. Because York University tuition was like $34,000 a year, and Memorial University was like $14,000 a year. I said, okay, I can manage that. I remember I said, I don't know money come from, you know. Imagine some can go to Canada and do the work like Ariana and get money and pay for school myself. So that was where my mind was at. I left, so now I reached the 27th of December 2020. So that's when I go down on Nama International Airport. My father dropped me there. I didn't even say a proper goodbye because I think he had to rush to do something. Come by my own to himself. Come to Canada. Toronto. I landed in Toronto in particular. COVID still go along, so I have to do a 14-day quarantine, and thank God, New York University put me up in one hotel, put me for 14 days, and I'm did it. Food I get delivered to me because I can't cook nothing in the hotel or whatever, because I can't go out go buy food. I need no money for buy food, so thank God to them have a thought out for me. When I was in quarantine at the hotel, I said, okay, if you know I'm going to live here now, if I apply for jobs, so I fine tune my resume, I apply for jobs, I look where I can go live. I was thinking I was going to be on dorm. I work in university, I'm not going to pay a fee, but I said, okay, that's the thing. And of course my mom and dad was in the work, and my mother did get in touch with a church lady that we knew, and she found a room for me. I thank God for, she know herself, thank God for her and what happened right after to be my first landlady or landlord in Canada. So after I moved from the hotel, the St. Sister C so kindly carried me from the hotel to what would become my new home. It was a room in the basement, and of course, better than nothing. And the landlady and her children, they were Jamaicans, so they were just so kind. So I felt like they made me call my cousin. And even when the bedroom, when it was first scouting the bedroom for me, she was like, okay, $600 a month. And I said, no, I can't handle that. And the search sister, she get it onto $400 for me. So big up to her every time. I would sing her praises in the world and sing even the landlady praises in the world. Like, thank you so much. That really helped because I know where the money that come from. But as I say, man, I'll tell her, apply for all these jobs. January 21, 2021, got my first job as a inventory associate. What does it entail now? So basically I had to go to different stores and help take stock of the stock. Help take stock of the inventory in the stores, and I have to go and like help them count. Every time I go on a job or work for this thing, it's a different store, and I don't know the bus system work yet. So I just late enough time for it because I have to go Walmart, then I have to go on Sephora, then I have to go on Home Depot. They go Home Depot, I don't think I go Home Depot. But you need to get this a different place every time. I never go to the same place twice. After I have to take it on a bus, and then I winter. I remember one time I rush for go on Walmart job and me slip and drop into the ice. I know I'm tall already, so it was a long fall to take, but I have to make money. On April 28th, 2021, I finished my second semester at York University, all online. And if you know the rules, the laws in Canada, as a study permit holder, you are only allowed to work 20 hours a week while you're having classes. So this job, I was only working 20 hours a week. The thing is, as soon as you have the classes, i.e. the summer, you can work as much hours as you want. I'm gonna say, okay, even for 28 drop in when exams done, may I look for job hard. Come I say, okay, me if make that money I have to pay them people then tuition, cause tuition there's something that come in and think me have to get late fee cause I not pay to them. So the 20 hours a week when I work for the inventory thing, it not pay tuition, cause basically minimum wage. So I have to get work. Another work. See, 11th of May 2021, I got my second job as a verification specialist. So I'm like financial transaction or whatnot. And this was an overnight job. It was from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. And on the following day, 12th of May 2021, I got a third job as a outbound car representative. Also it was basically a survey interviewer job. And that was from 3:30 p.m. on weekdays, 3:30 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let me tell you how my schedule will go. Outbound car representative, market researcher, survey interviewer job. Monday to Thursday, 3:30 p.m. to 12 midnight. This and the third job, they were remote, so I'm gonna work from home. So 3:30 p.m. to 12 midnight, I work the outbound car representative job. And then I have to pull upon the other work laptop and draw and log in. Right I'm log out to my phone, no break in between, I have to log in to our next work overnight. And then I try to get a little sleep in between from 8 a.m. log out of the second job. Get a little sleep. I normally wake up like 3 o'clock or whenever I wake up. But I have sleep in the daytime 8. And then on weekend I try to pick up a job with the inventory thing. So okay, because inventory thing was more flexible, like based on the availability. Okay. So them can do this, so them can do that, and and get more money, because money will look away you're there. And money with the things they do. On August 7, 2021, I got the admission letter from Glenmuir University of Newfoundland. Okay, we get through. Trying to transfer every credit from York. I'm ahead for go. Ahead for go Mon. They call it Mon University of Newfoundland. Mon. So I'm like, okay, scrape up milk or belongings. good thing I having two remote jobs I can go and work with. Goodbye to the inventory job because I'm gone about business. So on the 1st of September 2021, I left Toronto to St. Only Friend Province, 3.5 hour flight from Toronto to St. John's, Newfoundland. And God, I had a mother, big up to mommy. I got an extra assistant. She had a brethren who did live on St. John's and I'm going to look on a place for me. And that's the place I'm moving to. I was paying $470 rent and it was another bedroom. But the thing is now, the predicament was the family I was living with. So a family was renting the same, it was like a 2-story house. Not 2-story, like, you know, the first floor like a basement really. So, well, again, on a different basement level. And it was 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, and a kitchen and living room. And there was a family already living there, and wife, and a 2-year-old son. And they were from a country where English isn't commonly spoken, and they weren't yet fluent in English. I might have to live with them amongst them. Of course, I think they meant well, but there was a language barrier. There were cultural differences. For example, they would like burn incense. The cooking of the food was rather smelling very strong. The child would make a lot of noise, and don't know what about me. I always attract children in a way that them always like want to come talk to me. I don't know if they think I'm face look amusing or whatnot, but they always want to come talk to me. I remember when the first time it snowed in December, him coming up on my door, knock, knock, knock. Snow, and I put my shoe on, me want to snow, which was okay and nice, you know. I got children, and you know, so me in the room I try work. You know there's something there. And at the same place, rats and cockroaches in the place. Mold was in my room. I discovered mold and just feel comfortable there. So I lived there September 1 and in November 1 I submitted my notice to leave and I left 30th of December 2021. I'm gonna look at the next place. So the next place I'm gonna move to, it did start January 1, 2022, but thankfully the landlady, she had allowed me to move in December 30th, 2021. And the rent was more. So, remember, I moved to Newfoundland with the 2 remote jobs. I had to give up the verification specialist. Well, you know, the verification specialist one, it became a telemarketer job in July because I think the department had closed and I had to like move us to telemarketing, which was weird. But I had to give it up because I remember the rule, when classes start, you can only work 20 hours a week. Okay, I need somewhere where I can focus better on work and school. And I moved to a new place. It was a bedroom on the 2nd floor of a 3-story row house. I can't even call it townhouse kind of thing. A bedroom. But the thing told me that it had a bathroom attached to it. But the rent was $675. So $675, but good. So okay. I have to sacrifice for that one, yeah, but it would be worth it. But yeah, sacrifice. If you want good, you must have to run. My nose ran. In 2022 was the most difficult year of it all.